Wow. So Ubisoft apparently came to E3 prepared, because that was a really good presentation that some of us, we expected certain games to be there, right? Like, we expected the Mario and Rabbids crossover. We kind of expected Beyond Good and Evil 2, but the way it was put together overall, and the way they had what should have been surprises, because they should have been really, the beginning of the show should have been a strong opening with a big surprise. The end of the show should have been an opening with, or should have been a closing big surprise. So overall, man, Ubisoft, they brought it this year. So we pretty much got started the way I think most of us were at least expecting to kind of get started. We all wanted to see the Mario and Rabbids crossover because we've been hearing it for so long, right? I mean, this thing is like the worst kept secret. I mean, it was kept secret for about 2 years because it's been in production, or at least in development, for 3 years. So for the first 2 years, for the most part, it was kept under wraps pretty well. And then, of course, leaks, rumors, all this stuff starts coming out, and we pretty much get an idea of this entire game, how it's going to be played. But then they show it, and you know what? It looked better than I thought it would look. When I started hearing about indirectly controlling the characters, really the way that they're going to set up a strategy RPG, I was kind of like, maybe. But then we see it. And I gotta say, guys, I am impressed with this game. It looks really good. It definitely looks like XCOM. That was the first thing I thought of. I know I kind of thought it was going to be more like a Fire Emblem style, but when I first saw it, I looked at it and I said, well, it looks like XCOM-esque. It doesn't look exactly like XCOM, obviously, but it looks very similar. It looks like it uses a lot of the movement and really the strategy with guns and everything. Technically, I mean, they're blasters, but they look like guns, right? It looked like that kind of strategy. Destructible environments. They have shortcuts around the map. You work together where you can kind of almost like help them jump to different parts of the map. And they had a full skill tree, and it looked like a pretty deep RPG for like a strategy-based system, and I like that. I was hoping it would be something like a Fire Emblem or XCOM, so I'm pretty excited to try this out. There's going to be a few things that I still need to see. One, I still need to see how they're going to flesh out this story, right? Because there has to be some, I assume, large enemy or villain that is supposed to be, you know, the main bad guy, the big bad guy you're supposed to go up against. And then, of course, I have to see how the Rabbids and Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, how they all kind of interact, because the one thing people were really concerned about with this game is how annoying the Rabbids would be going forward. But at least in the trailer, they looked like they had their moments, but they didn't look like they really took over the entire game, right? Because they were there for comic relief, but then when they had to be serious, they were serious. It wasn't like they were just, you know, spazzing out the entire time. And if they can kind of give the couple of Rabbids that we saw, give them some kind of character to them, kind of flesh them out a little bit with some development, then they could actually be, I think, become like poster child for the entire Rabbids like franchise. So I like what they did there. You could tell the developers were so into the games that they were presenting. Like, I mean, how many of them were like crying when their stuff was up on stage? You could tell that they put a lot of time and like heart and soul into these games. So yes, it looked cool. They brought Miyamoto out. Great touch. I actually was talking about that before stream. I was like, Miyamoto's been spotted there. I wonder if he's going to show up on stage. And he showed up on stage. And they brought like blasters and kind of talked about the game, put it over a little bit, then they showed gameplay. Overall, I was happy with the Mario Rabbids crossover. Definitely more so than I thought I was going to be. And now we know it's coming out August 29th. So pretty much right at the end of August. But that's not too far away. And then we get to try it out. And, you know, hopefully overall it'll be fun. And then, of course, we jump over to Assassin's Creed Origins, which is fine. We already saw some gameplay for it at the Microsoft events. This wasn't like completely new to us, and then they were going to show us more after the entire presentation. But they at least got it out there, showed it, and then we kind of moved on actually pretty quick from there. I was a little surprised they didn't spend much time at all on Assassin's Creed, but again, they had their big moment at Microsoft's conference with full gameplay where they played through a section of the game. Overall, though, Assassin's Creed, you know what? I like the idea of it. I like the change of setting where they're going to Egypt. I think they could actually tell some pretty cool like stories, because it's kind of like a fiction mixed with like history, and that's one of the things I like about it, is they try to tell an original story that takes place in a time period of history. So I'm interested to see how they can kind of put that together, and it looks like they've spent some time. It looks like that year off has done that team some good to really bring Assassin's Creed to Egypt and try to give us, I want to say, a better experience than what we've had before, especially with something like Unity. Syndicate was better. Unity was not very good. Next, we got hit with a lot of The Crew 2, which we knew the Crew was going to be there, the second one, because we heard about it in their meeting with their investors. And overall, it looks like The Crew just more of it, right? I mean, it looked like you're flying planes, you're racing around in speedboats and of course cars, but it looks like it's going to be more of the regular Crew. So if you liked the Crew 1 and you wish there was just more to it, this looks like it will be your game to pick up. And you know, it's coming up. It's not for a little bit though, and it's not out this year. It's scheduled for early 2018, whatever that could be. That could be like first quarter, somewhere in there. It could be like a February release, for example, but we'll have to see if they give us a release date closer to maybe even Christmas time. Next up, we get a trailer for South Park, and overall South Park, you know what? It looks like South Park. I love the Stick of Truth. I thought it was a lot of fun to play through, and it was one of those experiences where you play through it kinda, and you realize you're really just watching a bunch of South Park episodes kind of put together, and I like that. Overall, it was fun exploring the town. You level up your character that you created originally. It looks like this new one, like I've said before, is going to be really a lot of the kids' imaginations with how they should be with their superpowers interacting with the world. And I like that really they've given all the different kids kind of a like an identity as a superhero. And of course, like I said, they're going to all have superpowers. You have Timmy as like Professor X and everything. It looks funny. It looks like South Park. If you enjoy South Park, you'll probably like this. If you don't like South Park, you probably won't like it. Then we kind of go to like this interesting kind of like highlight reel of a new VR game that Elijah Wood is working on. And I saw this and I was like, this is very weird. They didn't really explain what it was. I think that was the idea, to kind of keep us in the loop, kind of get us interested in a game that we just don't know much about. It's called Transference. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, it's not till next year. It's a 2018 game, so it's a little bit away, but at least it gives us something to look forward to. It's another VR game. Maybe they can... VR needs original games that could be, like, this could be a game that could really help out VR. I think Sony, Oculus, Microsoft, HTC, they're all trying to get good games on these VR headsets that still cost a small fortune just to have. So if there are games that make you buy one, then there you go, they win. And really, I think everybody is trying to figure out VR right now. And if this is just an original idea, you know what, that's cool, but they didn't tell us much. I wasn't expecting it. We moved on from there pretty quick even. From there, we moved on to a game called Skull and Bones. It looks like a PvP style. They showed us a 5-on-5 of basically everyone controls a ship. They said they kind of got the idea with how excited people were for the naval battles in Assassin's Creed, for example, which, yes, a lot of people liked Black Flag and its naval battles, so they took that away, right? And they made an entire game based on 5-on-5 or however many they want to do. Basically high seas battle. So it looks like you have like your tanks, your DPS, they have ones that ram into people, they have long range ships, and you pretty much just battle each other completely, it looks like, and you get points, or in their case they give you like loot, and then whoever has the most at the end wins. And it doesn't look like a game I was interested in. In fact, I was watching this and it was kind of a little, the whole conference kind of slowed down at this point for me. I know there's a lot of people out there who enjoy pirate games. This is like a competitive high seas pirate game. That's fine. It wasn't interesting to me. I do think some people will enjoy it. It's not out till next year as well. It's a while. It's like fall next year, and they're going to have, it looks like a beta and everything, so we'll try it out. And it wasn't for me. I have a feeling some of you guys will like it though. From there, they give us like this full like dance number for Just Dance 2018. That's coming out. Just Dance pretty much constantly come out. I don't know why they still show these at E3, because the vast majority of people who go to E3 don't really care about Just Dance. I know that there is a presence in like the mainstream for that game. I just think they probably can get away with not even showing it there, honestly, instead of running over time. But they did have obviously some very talented dancers and performers doing it. I just don't think it really needs to be there. Then we find out that Ubisoft is, I guess, in this case, giving us another mobile game that is based around South Park. So there you go. It's called Phone Destroyer. It's coming out 2017, and you're going to see all these companies. I'm telling you guys, I've told you for a while now, get into mobile games, because that's where the big profit is. Most people don't want to admit it, because, you know, we love our console games, but the mobile market is hot right now. That's where you make money. I'm talking like real money. You don't have to put crazy amounts of money in expenses into building these games like you would with Assassin's Creed. And with these mobile games, you will have a really endless supply, if you keep updating it, of in-game purchases. So tons of money. It's more of a supplement, I think, so you can kind of build your phone game, put it out there, have a team update it consistently, and it'll help the company out big time, because it'll make them like good profit. You know what I mean? They can use that for building other games. So I think at this point, I think every company should have a mobile game that they can use as a supplement to their like console division. It'll help them through maybe a bad release or something. And at this point, you're going to see probably every company do this because it just makes financial sense. Next up, we get Starlink, which was, I saw this and I was like, okay, they're going to sell us toys for in-game stuff. So it kind of reminded me of, I guess, like Skylanders, for example, right, where we buy like the little pieces for toys or Lego Dimensions, and then we build the ships. The only thing that's interesting about this is how much do these things cost? Because they were switching out everything. Like they were building these little ships and putting weapons on each wing and all this stuff, and I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, that's going to be a price tag right there for parents to be paying, because that's going to be, I mean, it's great if you enjoy collecting this stuff. I get that. There's a lot of people out there who like collecting Skylanders. They like collecting Lego Dimensions, you know. I look at that though and I go, wow, that's going to be pricey. There's an audience for it. It's not me, but I do understand that people will buy into it. It looks like you buy the pieces for your ship. They show up in the game. You play through a main quest line in the game. I don't know if you get anything that power. I assume you get stuff that powers up your character in the game. They didn't really show a lot of stuff, and it's not out till fall 2018. A lot of these games aren't out for a while. But that one in particular looked like it's going to be something they sell you on in stores for a while. You know, new parts come out, new versions of the game come out, and it looks like it's just them saying, well, let's do Skylanders kind of in sci-fi. Then we find out about the Steep expansion. It looks like it's going to release and kind of be Olympic themed for, you know, this year coming up for the Winter Olympics. If you're a fan of Steep, there you go. It just has more stuff. They showed half pipes and all kinds of stuff that'll be a part of the Olympics. Great to see they're still supporting Steep overall, because I know some of the player base has fallen off a little bit. We're still waiting for the Switch version as well. That was one I really wanted to see. I wanted to see Steep run on the Switch because we keep hearing about it, but we've seen nothing on it. That's a game that doesn't run at full resolution on, say, the Xbox One. I'd be very curious to see how the Switch version runs it. And keep in mind, it's also always online. So that Switch version is going to have to be online all the time, which is what we've seen. The reason Destiny 2 didn't go over, because it's an online-only game, but here's Steep coming over to it. Far Cry 5 comes up, and it looks good. It looks very good. The visuals look great, very colorful. According to them, there's like co-op campaign going all the way through it, and it looked fun. It looked super violent, obviously. They're trying to push this this crazy cult mentality that you're fighting against. The only thing I'm curious about is they're going to have to make the cult that you're fighting, I assume, like huge, because in Far Cry fashion, you're supposed to be going around taking settlements, taking towers, or you want to say that, and they're going to have to, I guess, make this cult a little more threatening or overpowering to your character, considering we watched the trailer and they were just mowing these guys down like it was nothing, and I felt like there should have been a bigger threat there, but again, we'll have to see more about it when we get to actually play it and see the story and see what exactly is going on with like their big bad character. But overall, it looked great. The gameplay looked fun. They had full vehicles and everything. And co-op campaign is awesome. I'm really happy for that. And we're still waiting for it to come out. But man, I'm ready to play some Far Cry. And then we get to the end of the entire conference. I was almost positive they weren't going to show it because we were running long. It was, I believe, after their 5 o'clock ending. They said it was going to be a little over an hour, and I was like, oh, I guess we're not going to show it. We were talking about it in chat the entire time. Where's Beyond Good and Evil 2? Is it going to be here? And then they hit us with it. That we didn't really know what it was at first, right? We're watching it, we're like, I think is this Beyond Good and Evil 2? It shows, obviously, this very futuristic looking world that they're in, where they have a monkey kind of making a deal with what appeared to be obviously like a mob boss or something, and then he kind of takes off with a disc of some kind, runs out of there. They're chasing him, and it looks very creative. It looks like it was definitely extremely unique. And he gets back up to the ship. They talk to everyone. They pop the disc in, and then it hits on screen Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that was awesome. I am so ready for Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's been like 15 years. He said on stage, 15 years. I played the first one on I played it on the PC and I played it on the original Xbox, and I'm ready for the second one. It's going to be awesome. No release date. We know it's 2018. It's definitely not this year. And they did tell us we can become part of like their Space Monkey program. I don't know what that is or what it means. Maybe there is a beta of some kind coming out. They were very vague about what this game is going to actually be. But man, when I saw that flash up on screen, I was like, awesome, because of course we know Vivendi is like lurking in the backgrounds right now, and I was a little concerned that Ubisoft might cut out Beyond Good and Evil 2. I do think with this looming Vivendi hostile takeover. Why I think this is the reason we see so many people with developers that were there showing off their games. I think there was a lot of emotion involved here, guys, because Vivendi is trying to do a hostile takeover on Ubisoft, and I have a feeling no one at Ubisoft wants that to happen. You could tell, I think personally, that they are sitting there. Maybe they, like most of them are sitting there like, I don't know if we're going to be here next E3, but you know what, let's do it. So, great showing from Ubisoft. You can tell the emotion was there. They desperately wanted these games to be good, and I liked it. The conference was great. If you didn't get a chance to see it, I would go check out any of the highlights because the crowd was into it, developers were into it, their guests were into it, even the announcers, the people who were talking, were into it. So, awesome showing by Ubisoft. That is probably my favorite one so far. We still have Sony, Nintendo, and then some smaller ones kind of sprinkled in, but so far, that is my favorite one. It was a great time. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you later on tonight for Sony. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll go live around 8:30, so I'll see you then.